In other words, those are hard to come by in this rally school.
Yeah, it really is. Allie hinted at it down there. For us, and I've talked to Greg about the side-out percentage. We beat them in side-out percentage the whole night, and that's the key to winning this game. And the key to siding out, Greg's talking about being able to run your offense. They played us enough to know that our middles, when we run the middle runs behind the setter to the antenna on the wide side of the net, that's our favorite set. And so they double block that all night, okay? And that's okay, because once we get double blocked in that position, even if the ball gets blocked, then we know that Allie is only going to have one blocker on her. And when you pass the ball to the setter, to allow her the option to set the open hitter, that's what happened, and that's how Allie gets 15 kills. And even the one she missed was a good set and a great swing. She just missed it on, just mishit it. So for us, I really thought the match boiled down to the ball control, and I thought our balls to the setter were better than their balls to the setter. They didn't side out. One game they sided out 60%, but we sided out 65%. And against a team like that, those are two pretty good numbers. But the fact that we were able to continue to side out at a little bit better pace than them just indicates the fact that our ball control, passing a little bit better, our serving just a little bit better than theirs. That's a great team we played tonight. They beat us twice. It's tough to beat a good team 3 times in a year, and I felt sorry for them to have to do that here at our place, but then I didn't. It's the way things worked out, and so for us, taking care of that home court loss, which was the only one we had all year, to them, it was really significant to us. And again, you may think that there's no correlation between football and volleyball, but there is. And we're going to go to Louisville, and the cross-country team is going to be there again. And I just think that gives us that extra motivation, that extra support group that will help us. I really do think it will help us when we get there. So,
can you run me through the decision to let Ashley Shepard get that kill?
Yes. Ashley Shepard is a terrific young lady who got injured this spring before her senior year. She'd already redshirted, so she was not going to be able to play volleyball anymore. And so Chris and I talked before the match, and I said, what I wanted to do was do it at the very beginning of the match. I wanted to let him put her in for a different player, so it wouldn't be a sub. We were going to serve the ball just like we did, let her get a swing, let her get a kill. They were going to side out to where they wanted to start the game, serve the ball into the net, and then we're going to go, and there would be 1-1. As you can see what happens, at the end of the match, it was very difficult for us to get that set up. And so it's a learning thing for me in terms of how we would approach that next time. You saw I had to call a timeout because I talked to the players before the match, but then when we decided not to do it at the beginning, and I give Ashley all the credit in the world because she said she thought that would detract from the match. And she's a wonderful young volleyball player. She's a great student. And so for me, I just felt like it was the right thing to do for her as a recognition of her contributions to that team, her role on that team. I just felt it was the right thing to do, and Chris agreed with us. When she decided not to do it, that tells you what a quality person she is, okay? And so then at the end, I just felt like we got kind of caught up in the emotion of the match at the end there, and it was very difficult for that to work out. So I mean, we really tried to do what was good for her, I thought, but it just didn't quite work out. So, no, that was a conscious decision on both our parts. She's a wonderful kid, and I wish her all the best.
A lot of the building blocks from this team, I guess you can attribute to Coach Martin also. I guess some credit goes to her also for this team.
Absolutely. That little libero over there, the kid that wore the red shirt, okay? When she came in here, I don't know if you've seen her warm up, she has one of the hardest hits on our team. I would say she hits it as hard as Abby and Paula, okay? She hits a really, really heavy ball, okay? And we were playing her freshman year, and she was an outside hitter for us. And the third weekend of the freshman year, we were having a little trouble with ball control, okay? And at that tournament, and I know exactly where we were. We were at Regis College. We had just lost the morning match. We were talking in the little hallway next to the bleachers. I could see it and I didn't want her to be the libero, but she said, that decision is done, I've made it, and we're going through with it. And it just tells you her ability to determine what the team needs best, because she didn't want, it took her 2 years to figure out that she wasn't ever going to hit here again. She still wants to hit. Like I said, she's the hardest hitter in warm-up that we have. But, for her, that decision that Coach Martin made in Denver, Colorado, at Regis University in 2007 has paid dividends now. So, yes, the team does owe a lot to her. You guys, I owe a lot to her. I worked for her for 23 years. Okay, when I talked to her last night, when we talked, it was her 60th birthday, so she didn't respond right away last night. She texted me this morning, and I don't know how, she called me at 7:30 in the morning on her way back from the airport, because she had to take some people back at 5:30 to go to the airport. I go, the birthday girl's not supposed to have to go to the airport at 5:30 in the morning, but we talked about things you do when a player goes down or potentially goes down. And so for us, we were going to make one change in that position. I wasn't going to move anybody into Abby's position. I was going to use the player that's going to play that position next year probably, or use Kelsey Ortworth, the other person already in that position, so there would be the fewest changes possible given that situation. And those are things that we've learned from her, that I've learned from her. And so for us, this morning's practice wasn't about Washburn. This morning's practice was running through the options if Abby wasn't available. And so the players, you can tell in those practices in the morning, because it's something that we don't normally do. And so for us, we didn't hit balls, I didn't have them serve, receive, I just went out there and walked through what would happen if Abby couldn't play. Lisa's in the front row, KO's in the front row. What do we want to run on serve, receive in this play? How do we want to serve, receive the formations we want to use? What's our primary options in each of these situations, given Lisa's up there, given Kelsey Ortworth's up there. So, and every single one of the players, we had their attention, they knew what they were doing, they really weren't that worried, it was not going to be a big problem one way or the other. So for us, handling those injuries is part of volleyball, but I really felt like it gave me the team's attention this morning, and I really felt like I really had a good feeling at that time in terms of how they were going to approach the match tonight.